Every year, more than 11 million containers arrive into the U.S. by sea. Another 13 million come from road or rail, and another 250 million packages enter the U.S. by air travel. It turns out a growing number of these shipments contain counterfeit or fake goods. Seizures of counterfeit products at U.S. borders have increased tenfold over the past 2 decades. The total value of seized goods, if they'd been real, reached nearly $1.4 billion in 2018. Most are coming from mainland China or Hong Kong.
The Chinese counterfeiters pop up so fast. The moment you take them down, another one pops up.
The rise of e-commerce has fueled counterfeiting around the world. Amazon said it blocked more than 3 billion suspected fake listings from its marketplace in 2018.
International e-commerce sellers must step up and do more.
The economic cost of counterfeiting is mounting. The OECD says fake goods account for more than 3% of all global trade, while some estimate the sale of illicit products could result in more than 5.4 million net job losses worldwide by 2022.
U.S. businesses are going out of business because of counterfeit goods.
We visited one of the busiest entry points in the U.S. to get a glimpse at the influx of fake products and to find out what authorities are doing to stop counterfeiting. Counterfeit goods are unauthorized copies of products protected under intellectual property regulations.
Louis Vuitton, Michael Kors, Gucci, and you see this has some rating on us in another language.
Sellers try to trick consumers into buying imitation goods by using logos, symbols, and features that identify certain brands. You've probably seen counterfeit products before, like knockoff Louis Vuitton purses or fake Rolex watches. Some are made using lower quality materials, so they're less expensive to produce. Counterfeiters make money by luring consumers to these well-known brands, trying to convince them they're getting a deal on the real thing. Selling counterfeit goods is against the law in the U.S.
Most Americans, I think, have the misguided impression that if I buy a Rolex watch and I know it's a fake because I bought it for 20 bucks on the street, not for 2,000 bucks in the store, who gets hurt by that? The reverse question is the more important one: who's benefiting from that? Overwhelmingly, it's organized transnational crime that is running counterfeiting networks.
Counterfeits come in all shapes and sizes. According to U.S. Customs and Border Protection, the most popular counterfeit items are apparel and accessories, watches and jewelry, footwear, and consumer electronics.
We got Nike sneakers. One of the first things you look at is you could barely bend this. I'm actually having to use a lot of strength just to get a little bit of bend out of this.
Counterfeiters take advantage of Nike's name, brand recognition, and multi-million-dollar marketing campaigns to sell fake versions of the signature sneakers. Do you see a lot of counterfeit Nikes?
Yes, we see a lot of counterfeit Nikes.
Consumer products and pharmaceuticals also make up a big share of counterfeit goods. These are especially dangerous because they pose health and safety risks. In 2018, Europol intercepted 13 million doses of counterfeit drugs, ranging from opioids to heart medications, worth more than $180 million. The agency said it's seen a rise in counterfeit medicine in recent years.
They're not held to the same standard. They can go under the radar. They don't have to worry about the FDA. Not only is it not going to probably treat the ailment that you have, but it's potentially going to give you other ailments because you just don't know what's in that product.
With more consumers shopping online, it's becoming easier for fakes to beat out legitimate products on marketplaces. E-commerce platforms like eBay, Amazon, and Alibaba have ushered in a golden age for counterfeiters.
One of the great opportunities of the digital economy is that someone in a small town in Delaware can come up with a really neat product and they can sell it globally relatively seamlessly. But if it really catches on and someone else can simply counterfeit it or copy it, then your competitive advantage is dramatically reduced.
AJ Kubani is the CEO of Telebrands, a New Jersey-based company that pioneered the concept of as seen on TV.
Hi, Billy Mays here for the Jupiter Jack.
Telebrands says it has sold billions of dollars worth of products like the Petivac or Lint Lizard through TV infomercials.
The counterfeits pop up on Amazon within 30 to 60 days of us launching a TV commercial. So now when consumers go to Amazon and search for our particular product, more people buy the counterfeit because it's a cheaper price than buy our original product. This is the original product and this is the counterfeit. Side by side, you can absolutely tell the difference. The counterfeits on Amazon have had a devastating impact on our business.
Kubani said he was so frustrated he took his concerns all the way to President Donald Trump.
and met with Trump down in Bedminster, New Jersey at his golf club. We just pulled our chairs up to the table and started talking to him. And once we said counterfeits on Amazon, that's all we had to say. We had his attention.
Kubani said counterfeits on Amazon are threatening the business models of companies like Telebrands. The firm invests in finding, developing, and advertising new products. It expects to recover those investments once the products are sold. That's not happening thanks to the fakes.
Think about it. If we put all these resources, time, energy, money, the design, make sure the consumer wants to buy it, come up with a marketing campaign to launch the product, and do all that effort and find within 30 days the product dies a very fast death because of counterfeits, there's not much incentive to be innovative and continue to come up with new products.
Telebrands is one of many U.S. firms struggling to fend off counterfeiters online. In January 2020, the Department of Homeland Security issued a report saying the rise of e-commerce has intensified the problem of counterfeit trafficking and puts U.S. companies and entrepreneurs at risk.
It puts them out of business. That's the cost.
Bob Barchese testified in a House Judiciary Committee hearing in 2019 about how e-commerce presents new opportunities for counterfeiters.
At the click of a mouse, you could get product and you get it directly shipped to your house.
Booming e-commerce sales have led to a surge in shipments of small packages. There were 161 million express mail shipments in 2018 and 475 million packages shipped through international mail. The International Chamber of Commerce found counterfeiters use smaller shipments to try to lower their risk of detection. Meanwhile, U.S. Customs and Border Protection officials are being inundated by a growing number of small shipments arriving into the country every day. A rule that allows packages valued at under $800 to enter tax-free has exacerbated the problem.
When we're talking about early 2000s, you're looking at about between 3,000 and 5,000 seizures. Now you fast forward to today, we're almost pushing 40,000 seizures a year. Not only does it increase the workload and it really gets the officers in the trenches and they really have to spend a lot of time in finding that, but it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. We're just scraping the tip of the iceberg.
The U.S. imports more goods from China than any other country in the world. At this warehouse in New Jersey, about 90% of the products arrive from China. And it's the job of U.S. Customs and Border Protection officials to decide which ones are real and which ones are fake. Boulder, Colorado-based Night Eyes is another company that has suffered from counterfeiting, and it's fighting back. It said it removed 75,000 counterfeit listings from online marketplaces in 2019.
I would say 99% of the counterfeit products that we see are coming directly from China. The supply chain, the components, the raw materials, all of the things that you need in order to make counterfeits, you have those set up in China.
In 2018, U.S. Customs agents seized a shipment of 300 counterfeit Night Eyes accessories like these that had been sold through Amazon by sellers with names like Snakey, Max, and Very Lee Good.
We filed a lawsuit to try to track down those counterfeiters. When Amazon heard about the breadth of the issue, they took over the case.
Amazon has subpoenaed other tech and financial firms to try to get more information about the fakers' identities. But tracking down counterfeiters is easier said than done.
The sellers are really good at hiding their identity. And so they put up, fake stores with fake names and fake addresses. And so you're really left to find some breadcrumbs.
The immense cost of counterfeiting cases on top of brand damage and lost sales are too high for some businesses to take on.
Well, there's nobody we can go after for counterfeiting our products. Typically, if a company is located in the United States and they counterfeit our product, we have legal recourse. But if they're based in China, there's no way we can enforce our intellectual property rights in China.
China pledged to take steps to lower the number of counterfeits produced in the country as part of the Phase 1 trade agreement with the U.S.
China has also pledged firm action to confront pirated and counterfeit goods, which is a big problem for many of the people in the room. The counterfeiting. We'll make sure that this happens, and we have very, very strong protection.
Some still say China will only take the issue seriously once businesses in the country experience the costs of counterfeiting themselves.
I think it gets solved when you have Chinese companies and Chinese innovation, and they start getting counterfeited. And that's happening.
Some businesses say e-commerce platforms need to be held more accountable. Right now, e-commerce companies aren't usually liable for counterfeits sold by a third party on their platforms. In Amazon's case, more than half of total merchandise sales come from third-party sellers.
How many more brick and mortar retailers have to go out of business before someone goes after Amazon? How many patent holders and inventors have to lose millions in royalties before the government finally does something?
In a statement to CNBC, an Amazon spokesperson said, "We are actively fighting bad actors and protecting our store, and we will continue to work with brands, government officials, and law enforcement." The company launched Project Zero in 2019, which allows brands to remove counterfeits from the marketplace. It said it invested more than $400 million to fight fraud, counterfeit, and other forms of abuse in 2018. eBay told CNBC it invests millions of dollars annually to fight counterfeits. Chinese e-commerce giant Alibaba launched an anti-counterfeiting alliance in 2017 after widespread criticism about fake goods on its platforms. In January 2020, President Trump signed an executive order that tries to prevent counterfeiting on e-commerce websites. Meanwhile, legislation introduced in 2019 by a bipartisan group of senators aims to give U.S. Customs and Border Protection officers wider authority to seize products that infringe certain types of patents.
Frankly, it's more important that we find ways to protect the creators who help make American society so rich and so robust.
Consumers also play a role in reducing the sale of counterfeits. Officials say telltale signs include misspellings on packaging, bad reviews, and bargain prices.
The bottom line is, if it looks too good to be true, it is.